There are many ways to do a compost. The best way that I've found is to put the matter into a 5x5 container and make sure that it's at least 3 foot high, and then it gets warm, and then move it twice. So after you've filled it up, after about 3 weeks you move it, and then after 5 more weeks you move it again. And within 3 months' time you have beautiful compost. Composting is pretty simple, but if you want the complicated part, the ratio should be 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. I think of those as browns to greens. For our browns, we use mostly leaves from the forest floor. The easiest way we've found to do that is to lay down a tarp and then rake the leaves onto the tarp and drag the tarp over to the compost heap. After the heap is sat for 3 months, we then run it through a sifter before we put it in the garden. We made that out of hardware cloth, stapled to 2x2s. This is 3 pounds of sifted compost, and you can see the consistency. It smells really good too. So I'm going to head up these wonderful steps. Here's a couple of plants at the marigold I transplanted, and that one there, I'm not sure if it's a pepper or tomato. It's probably one of those though. Oh, and there's some potatoes that are growing. Probably want to get in the ground. Sweet potato. That's a sweet potato. Here's a regular potato. They just grow. There's another sweet potato. There's another regular potato. So, might want to try and put those in the ground. Sweet potatoes are rich in vitamin C, and they contain more vitamin A than most other vegetables. Going up to the garden. Sweet potatoes are very sensitive to frost. They're members of the morning glory family. When you are preparing to store them, they should be left in high temperatures for about 15 days in a well-ventilated space. We're talking 85 to 90 degrees. Sweet potatoes are 100 to 110 days to harvest. You see it's very steep. This corner we've planted red potatoes and white potatoes, and 3 marigold plants. The camera's a little shaky here because I'm holding onto the fence, heading toward those 2 beautiful blueberry bushes. That's a blueberry. Blueberries are not self-pollinating, and that is why we planted 2 different varieties. Blueberries should be planted 5 feet apart, and they require a very acidic soil of 5 to 5.6. The water thing's working out pretty good. If it would rain, had to haul it over. We have a 7-gallon bucket that we haul over here. Rosemary. Just sitting out there like a good kitten. This here is Rosemary. She's the most like a wildcat in her looks. She's also quite active and loves to hunt. Nasturtium. There is a maple tree. Those just won't go away. Even when you cut them down, they come back. This looks like it needs a lot more compost. And looks like some bugs are eating. This one and this one. Those are runners that have taken hold. Or beginning to take hold, I think. Another marigold. Something here, I don't know what this is, but it's getting eaten pretty badly. Whoa, look at the turmeric. Doesn't that look pretty? There's a nasturtium behind it here. Looks pretty happy together. Look at that. Ooh, those look really healthy. That's a raspberry. Raspberries are a cold hardy plant, and they are a perennial fruit and great for making jam. This is probably a sunflower right here, but I don't know. What's that one? That's a tomatillo. It's getting eaten too. I better get out here and spray these. Although the marigolds and nasturtiums and the borage are all there to help us repel pests, we still need more help. Garlic is a valuable tool for the gardener. Garlic has antibiotic powers. It controls downy mildew, cucumber rust, bean rust, early blight of tomato, brown rot of stone fruit, angular leaf spot on cucumbers, and bacterial blight that can attack bean plants. You can see that we've added a lot of fresh compost. It's that nice rich brown color there, and that will help retain moisture through the summer heat. The big plant there on the left is a rhubarb, and that is a fruit that has a very tart flavor. I kind of think of it like a Granny Smith apple, and because of its tartness, it makes it great for adding to many dessert recipes. These plants here with the larger leaves, I believe are comfrey, and I really hope so because comfrey has many, many wonderful uses. Here's the raspberry, and then the turmeric, and then the nasturtium. And there's the marigold, and we're moving over to the Swiss chard, which I'm quite excited about. Here's an example of two of the trees that we cut down and what happens when you don't pull them out by the roots. They grow back. Here's a nice close-up of the rhubarb. Rhubarb is a perennial fruit. You can see that it's been being eaten. We've started spraying it with garlic. This area here is mostly pepper plants, different types, hot and red and green and yellow. And then between the pepper plants, we planted some herbs, some parsley and some savory. So all the plants that we're looking at now are what I would consider my spring crops. The brown space that hasn't been planted yet will be for the summer crops, like corn, cucumbers, zucchini, pumpkin, and lots of other goodies. I really like nasturtiums. They bloom a lot, and their leaves are really unique. You see the blueberries in the background there. These three plants here are two different types of eggplants. Come to find out, potatoes, up until recently, could only be grown in cool areas. But now, because of new varieties, they can be grown pretty much anywhere. Potatoes are considered a strong depletion plant, which means they take nutrients out of the soil quickly. Good potatoes require acidic soil of pH 6 or below. Soils with a higher pH tend to harbor potato scab and other fungal diseases. Celery is considered a difficult plant to grow. It takes a long time for it to germinate, and also celery is a heavy feeder and needs a mulch to keep it moist. Nasturtiums like a sunny, well-drained location, and they want about 1 square foot. Both the nasturtium flowers and leaves have a spicy flavor, and they're similar to cress. It's like a lettuce, and it works well with salads and sandwiches. Here you can see that we've been adding a lot of fresh compost to the garden. In this area, which I would call the east side of the garden, or the strawberry area, you have 3 levels. On the opposite side of the garden, we tried a different approach, and we left the hillside intact. I would have preferred to start these spring crops sometime in January or February, but because we heated our home with a wood stove, it was hard to regulate the temperature so that the plants could be comfortable. Our latest farm critters are rabbits. Here you can see we're building a deck for the rabbit cages. The rabbits came equipped with cages and trays, and the trays are so that you can stack them one on top of another. We have found the trays very difficult to empty each day, and so we have designed this so that their manure will fall to the ground and we can easily rake it out. We decided to place the rabbits here behind the guineas because guineas eat bugs, and so whatever bugs that the rabbits may attract, the guineas will enjoy. We were able to place all the rabbits without a tray except for one of them. We have 4 different rabbit breeds. On the top there is Carmel, and she is a Rex, and she is known for having velvety fur. Below her here we have a little one that's called Dutch, and he is a Holland Lop, and he's a pet rabbit. This is the largest rabbit. It's a New Zealand, and her name is Jenny. And there's Dennis Hopper. He's a lionhead. This black and white one here is Minnie. She's also a Rex with a velvety fur. Up front here is another lionhead. This is Miss Kitty. And in the back there, that is Bob Gnarly, and he is the male Rex. That concludes this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching and will consider subscribing, and have a wonderful day.